Welcome back to part 2 of a live coaching session I held with the brave owner of Happy Walks Pet Sitting, Jonie. In part 1, we really identified all the things that Jonie wants to accomplish. She wanted to grow her business. She wanted to be more sustainable. She wanted to figure out her pricing a little bit more. She wanted to make sure her staff was happy. She wanted to be able to have more time for her family and herself. Pretty much everything that most pet business owners struggle with on a regular basis. And in this episode, we dive in as to how we can help her accomplish maybe not all of them in one session, but the majority. We help her get a plan together as to how she can easily save 12 to 15 hours a week, making more time for herself and her family, how she can help get her employees into positions that are better suited for them, and all at the same time of actually growing her business. So dive in with us and let's see how it's done, because I can guarantee you, if you own a pet business, you are going to resonate with Jonie today. Also, before we get into it, I am looking for a handful of people to be the founding students of a new course I am creating called the Pet Business Pricing Formula. It's how to price your business for 6 figures plus income without the burnout. I know you might have a 6-figure plus business already, but the question is, are you burned out? In this free course with virtual live lessons, you're going to learn exactly how to set, raise, and communicate your prices so you can earn more, work less, and keep the clients you actually want to serve. I will give you a step-by-step strategy to support your lifestyle goals, your income goals, and the long-term success of your pet business. When your pricing is based on a proven formula, instead of guesstimating or charging based on what the competitors charge or what you think the customers would be willing to pay, not only can you earn more and work less, but you don't have to worry about losing the right clients either, giving you freedom to work with those you love and time to spend with your family. And as a bonus for being my founding student, along with the free course, you are also going to get my spreadsheet calculator for free. This is huge because it is exactly how I figured out the right prices for my business. This is a plug and play spreadsheet to type in all of your business's details, all of your capacity goals, and it will help you figure out the right pricing for you. So if you want to know how to price your pet business for profit, growth, and freedom, DM my Instagram channel or Facebook channel, both of them under the handle Conscious Pet Sitter, and I'll send you the link to get signed up. Now let's dive into part 2 of the live coaching call with Jonie and see how we help her meet her goals. This is the Dog Sitter's House podcast. I don't think we'd be able to really iron it all out today, but let's just pick one to get started on. Which one would be your top priority?
I don't think I can achieve a 30-hour work week without growing the business.
Why?
I don't think our numbers are where they need to be for me to transition everybody to employees and myself to a 30-hour work week. I just feel like either our business needs to grow or our prices need to change.
What do you spend the majority of your time on in your work weeks now?
Admin tasks.
Okay. And let me get a new page for that, because I know that's going to be a long one. Admin tasks. What all does that involve? Rattle off a whole bunch of stuff you're doing.
Scheduling,
And scheduling what in particular?
we do about 25 drop-in visits a day. It's usually split between 4 and 5 teammates, depending on when the visits are required and the teammates' availability.
So you're scheduling both with the customer and the independent contractor, right?
Yes, yes. We use Precise Pet Care, so the customer will put in a booking request, and then it's up to me to assign somebody
I see.
to that.
Okay, so
But it's
basically it's assigning the ICs to the bookings.
to the bookings based on their availability. It's it's
Okay.
a bigger juggle than how it seems to say it so quickly, having different ICs with different availabilities on different days. And we do have repeat clients, but it's not the same 25 drop-ins every day. It changes day to day. So some of them are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We might have a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Some of them are 5 days a week. But so
Oh, okay.
this,
So most of them still usually end up having the same days.
most of them usually have the same days. Because we do pet sitting and just to make the schedule work, it's usually not the same person that'll visit. For example, Guinness on Monday won't be the same person that comes the next Monday because the day might flow differently.
Oh, okay. What would happen if you did try and set it up? Have you ever looked at that? Is there a way to set it up so that you have the same IC going on every Monday to these X clients and then the same one every, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I could do that if I were to take on another teammate or two.
Why? Help me understand that.
But the team that I have right now, my core staff, the one that's the assistant director of a rescue, her availability changes from week to week, unfortunately.
Oh, I see. So it's
So
the
I think,
IC's availability. Okay.
sure,
Is
she,
that with all of them or just her?
it's just with her. I thought maybe we might have a more of a boarding or doggy daycare situation that might fit her better where she could have reoccurring availability. But for right now, her availability is different every week. So that really changes what assignments I give the others too, just to make sure that all the bookings are covered.
Okay. You're scheduling everybody around her schedule.
Somewhat, yeah. It'd be nice to have just a small amount of growth where we could cover another, where I'd have the payroll to cover another independent contractor or two and maybe explore more of a boarding or doggy daycare scenario
At
with
their home?
her at her home. Yeah, she provides daycare and boarding at her home for Happy Walks pet sitting. But it seems like it might be a better future fit for her
Schedule.
than trying to schedule her for drop-ins, which she provides. She always provides an A plus 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 job whenever she goes out, which at first had a lot of lure. But now that I'm trying to balance my family commitments and I see like I'm sure my mom would sure appreciate some support coming up. It doesn't seem as practical to keep her as a core dog walker or pet sitter. But yeah, a lot has been scheduled around her. I know the clients love her and it's worked well until now, but we're starting to outgrow that phase.
Right. That's what it sounds like to me. To make sure I understand, is she the one who's already doing the boarding and daycare at her home? Some? The other one
Yes.
with the
Yeah, she fostered so many dogs that when a client recommended I bring her onto the team, I immediately put her address on for boarding and doggy daycare because I knew that was a passion of hers and something that she'd also like to move towards as well.
Okay. Okay, great. So she'd be happy with going to that only too, if possible. Yeah.
Yes, she'd be thrilled.
Oh, that's a bonus. Okay. Okay. So what percentage wise, if you had to guesstimate, are you still utilizing her out in the field?
Sure, she does about 3 a day during the work week, Monday through Friday.
What are some things you could do to take that responsibility away from her?
And then to be fair, when teammates are sick or on vacation, she has more than doubled that workload, but typically it's not a lot. I think if we were to advertise more boarding and doggy daycare, she'd be thrilled and she wouldn't miss those 3 drop-ins a day. But I it's the catch 22 because then I still have to figure out who's gonna those 3 drop-ins a day she does isn't a big part of the workload, but I'm already a part-time pet sitter. If there's nobody else that would cover those, another teammate would need to come in.
Yeah, you'd have to hire somebody else to
Mhm.
replace her. Yeah. And you feel like in order to do that, you first need business for her so she still has work at boarding and daycare.
Sure, it would be ideal to still be able to provide work for her. Absolutely. I know the clients love her that she's done drop-in and boarding with. And as far as representing the brand for meet and greets and things like that, she's fantastic. So
Hmm.
I'm definitely not looking to remove her, even though she doesn't fit real well into the equation at the moment. I feel like we have a perfect spot for her and we're just trying to figure out what that is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now twice you've said that she does really well with the clients at the drop-ins and the pet sitting and stuff, and they really like her. So you just admitted you're not really ready to let that go. Can we go deeper on that as to why? What comes up for you?
She's just been such a reliable team player. I feel like whenever anybody needed a hand or anything unexpected happened where there was a need and there was no anticipated staffing, that she's always got a great attitude to come in and lend a hand, even if it was unanticipated or she was in the middle of something with her family or it wasn't even a work day for her.
Hmm.
So I feel like that kind of behavior deserves to be rewarded and that we should have a spot for it. Although she might not fit great as a dog walker indefinitely. I think she realizes that. And when she first came to me for looking for employment opportunities, she said that she had a great interest in boarding and doggy daycare.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I think we got off course a little. I think I miscommunicated my question. So let me try again. If you were to take her out of the 3 drop-ins a day, Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
if I was your coach and I said, which I would never do, by the way, but if I said, hey, I think the only thing you can do is take her out of this 3 drop-ins a day, Monday through Friday. You have to do this now.
Uh-huh.
Some objections might come up for you. What might those be?
It would be me doing those 3 drop-ins.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so then that means A, you either have to hire somebody or that's more work for you.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. And at the same time, now I'm gonna put you in the corner. And even though nobody puts baby in the corner, I'm gonna put you in the corner and ask you this. I've heard you say multiple times that she really would like to do boarding and daycare.
Mhm.
So at the same time, I heard you say, and I believe you, multiple times that it's really important to you that your employees are happy.
Mhm.
So if that boarding and daycare equals her being happier with what she's doing, then what would be better than to try and work towards something that's going to make her happier? What do you think about
Interesting. I don't know. That's such an interesting point
that?
that I'm glad you made.
Yeah, I'm just pointing that out because
Sure.
that's so important to you that she's happy, your employees are happy, which I get,
Mhm.
I admire, I respect, and I think is great. And I don't think you're seeing the disconnect between the two there because she keeps saying, or she's said to you multiple times, it sounds
Uh-huh.
like that's what she really wants,
Yeah.
right? So could it be possible that she's been such a star employee out in the field for you because she's hoping you will reward her with what she really wants?
It's possible.
Yeah. And if you had to do it, is it possible to find someone to replace her for the 3 drop-ins while you're also building the daycare and boarding business for her?
We could cover those 3 drop-ins, sure.
Yeah. Not you. Not you. So, have you been able to hire people in the past that were really reliable and stayed for long term and good employees?
So I've had really good teammates that I've brought on now with Happy Walks pet sitting
Mhm.
that have done well. I haven't personally in any of my other positions hired where I can speak to that. But at Happy Walks Pet Sitting, yeah, we've brought on some great teammates and they're still with us and
Yeah, you have a great record of
they're
being.
doing really well. So I'm grateful. Maybe the teammate we were discussing might have even lost some of her focus where I kind of got her stuck in the daily grind. And she really hasn't mentioned the daycare or boarding recently, but she kind of had to put her hopes and dreams on pause. And
Possibly.
maybe that's part of the reason I'm frustrated that she doesn't usually isn't available for more than 3 dog walks a day is because her dogs are barking and it's not her passion.
Yeah, yeah. And that's our goal that's our job as the leader, right? Is to see where our people are most talented, where their strengths and their passions lie, and try to line them up with that as much as possible within our company so that everything runs more smoothly. And you do keep someone for the long term who's passionate and has their heart in doing their job well every day, right?
Mhm.
So, okay. So you have a good record of hiring good people who are quality, reliable, and long term, right? And what I am hearing is that it's possible the fear of not being able to find somebody like that again is what's stopping you from hiring another person to fill her shoes in the field so that she can grow the daycare and boarding side at her home. Am I hearing you correctly? Is that
Well,
correct?
you're putting together some pieces of the puzzle I hadn't directly put together myself. But yes, that all sounds quite accurate.
Sometimes, I mean, that's what this is for. I'm a mirror. And when you're talking out loud to me, I'm here to connect those pieces for you. That's why we always need feedback from other people. So,
Mhm.
okay. So let's move on to the admin tasks. We have more besides that. So you do the scheduling and what else?
I monitor the email. We do get
Tell me what are like what kind of emails are those customer service emails?
most of them are potential client inquiries.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so then what that entails probably multiple emails back and forth with each one of them, right?
Sure, it usually does. Absolutely. I think we all get a little better at asking good questions to minimize the back and forth, but it's usually at least 2 or 3 emails
Okay.
with potential clients. I'm probably writing at least 20 emails maybe a week to potential clients back and forth.
Okay. Wow. So, I mean, the growth is there if you want it, it sounds like.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
is.
And
Yeah.
is that for anything? Is that for all the field work and daycare and boarding?
Most of our growth is with field work because I have not been promoting daycare and boarding at all, April. It's something that we offer to our clients that need it, that aren't a good fit for staycations if they go out of town and things like that. But because my staffing and my team is so small, I've never publicly advertised boarding or daycare. The public doesn't know that we offer it or that we're insured or experienced because I didn't want to take away from the bread and butter daily dog walks that I first launched.
Oh, how do you feel about that now?
Well, you make me think that I should probably advertise the doggy daycare and boarding for sure, which I really had always shied away from
Why? Or
because we didn't have staffing to do both. So if I have dogs at my house, I can't be in the field much doing dog walks. And same thing, I couldn't afford to have my other teammate that does boarding. I couldn't have her house filled with dogs, otherwise she'd never be able to leave to do the 3 dog walks a day that I unfortunately have come to depend on her to do.
okay, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a catch 22 you've gotten yourself into, which is it makes sense. You have a lot going on and I applaud you because you have taken on a lot. You know, these are boarding and daycare versus drop-ins and walk-ins and overnights are, every one of them is its own animal. Haha, pun not intended. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And you've done a great job. Now you're juggling, right? Now you're stuck in this. Okay, I want her to have more daycare and boarding, but if I advertise that, then she's not going to be able to go out in the field. But if she doesn't go out in the field, then I need to hire somebody else, or I have to do it. I can't take on anymore myself. And it's just this constant cycle, right? Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That
Okay.
sums it up.
I'm getting much clearer on your challenges currently. So that's good. Okay. So you got the emails. Okay.
I'm also the only one that oversees recording payments when they're received.
Recording payments. Okay. So the bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's kind of an important task though, because if nobody records the payment, the client will get an overdue notice in their email every morning, which it's not the way I want them to start their day.
Right. Right. Yeah, that would be frustrating for the client. So you definitely don't want that. And there's no way you can automate that to stop that from happening.
I can, but I don't think I want to pay the fees associated with it.
There's fees for, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I can process payments through Precise Pet Care, but then that would add fees.
Oh, so that's not through Precise Pet Care now.
Our clients pay through Zelle, and I record the Zelle payment in Precise Pet Care, but it saves us the processing fees. The way I have it sent up is Precise Pet Care will automatically send out a bill. I started that not too long ago because I got sick of making bills myself. But then after that bill is issued, if no one records a payment, it'll send out a overdue notice.
Okay. So you automated the invoicing, the bill, in Precise Pet Care, and then the customer pays on Zelle.
Yes.
And then you go back to Precise Pet Care and record that before they get a late notice.
Yeah, someone has to go back to Precise Pet Care before midnight to record it. Otherwise, if it's the day of their service, they're going to get an email with a red subject line that says overdue notice.
Right. And do you have to send them the invoicing through Precise Pet Care?
No, I only recently started doing that when I switched to Precise Pet Care.
Okay. What?
I don't have to, but it seems easier than sending it myself. At least it's going out whether or not I have my phone in my hand.
Is it like a recurring thing or something?
Yeah, it's a reoccurring thing.
Okay. Okay. Did you know there's other services you can use that are for recurring payments and invoicing that does it auto charge the customer?
With Precise Pet Care, I think if they have a card on file, it'll auto charge, but then you have to pay you got to pay a fee for that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was, but when we were a small business starting out, I was trying not to add a 3% transaction fee to everything. I figured I'd rather give that to the team if the client was going to be paying more.
I see. In this way, you're avoiding a 3% transaction fee.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay. That's all making more sense to me now. So every single day, you or somebody has to spend time on recording these payments in Precise Pet Care. How much time would you say you spend on that per day on average?
So I have my clients pay at the beginning of the week. So unless they're adding something that wasn't scheduled, all the payments come through usually on Sunday or at least over the weekend. I probably spend about 2 hours putting all the payments in.
Okay, so pretty much every Sunday you have to work at least 2 hours. Okay. All right. I don't know the answer to this question. I'm just going to ask it.
Sure.
Is that worth the 3% savings? Because in any case, we're either, as business owners, we're either trading our time or our money.
Yeah.
So you get to decide which one is more important to you on that one.
Sure. I think when I looked into it before, it actually came out to be more than 3% when all the charges were considered. Unfortunately, it's definitely worth 5% for me to do it myself or to outsource it to. I'm like, I don't want to name to outsource it to another company or somebody.
Yeah.
Another individual to do versus a 5% loss on the billables.
Yeah. I would look into that. I would look into some other options for your payment processing service.
I will. Maybe something else synchronizes with Precise Pet Care even, which I never occurred to me, but there might be a third party that might be
Yeah,
compatible.
I am not sure what does, but one place I would look at is Stripe. Have you heard of that?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we use Stripe for the pet store.
Oh, okay, good. So they have a subscription service you can set up, and the
Uh-huh.
customer, and you get charged less of a transaction fee on the subscription service invoices than if it's just a single invoice.
Neat.
Yeah. So whatever you're paying on transaction fees at the store per invoice, per transaction,
Uh-huh.
would pay less than that. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. I want to say it was like maybe 1.5%.
Sure, that's a lot better than the 2.85 we were paying at the store.
Yeah, because I know on my individual invoicing, it's definitely 3% or 3.5% now per invoice. And I know it was significantly lower if I set up a recurring payment. And the cool thing is you can set it up so that they either manually pay every time they get that invoice or it just automatically charges their card on file. Are your drop-ins then? Is it like a subscription, your drop-in?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Good, good, good. So, because I mean, from what I'm hearing, if you could get your ICs on a regular schedule of, hey, every day you do this customer Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, blah, blah, right? They all have the same, except for anomalies or when they're sick or what have you, or go on vacation. But otherwise, you know your customers' needs. The majority of them are consistently, I think you said 90% of them are repeat.
Hmm.
And you know what days they need a drop in. And that's the days that you could say, okay, I know every Monday I need somebody here, here, and here. And every Tuesday I need somebody here, here, here. And then you just create a consistent schedule for your people. That's going to stop you from having to do all that scheduling.
Hmm.
It's going to save you how much? That's going to save you how much time
A lot of time.
every day? How much would you say on average every day?
It's at least an hour a day is probably an understatement.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
some days are more and some days are less,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah. Okay. So that's at least 5 hours a week,
mhm.
if not maybe even up to 10 hours a week,
It's
between 5 and 8, maybe.
it's probably the most stressful part of the admin work that I
Really?
do too.
So I'm looking at 5 to 8 hours is fair to say that you would
Uh-huh.
spend every week.
Yes, yes, I should be ashamed to say that, but yes, 5 to 8 hours.
You should not be ashamed by any means. By no means be ashamed. This is actually something you should celebrate to identify. Yeah? Because
Sure.
this is giving you some clarity on where you can create time in your schedule to be there for your family and your mom and your yoga classes and right?
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. It it would
Okay.
be nice.
Okay, now if you looked into some different ways to do your billing so you don't have that consistent 2 hours every Sunday that you have to deal with it, that would be another 2 hours you could save.
Hmm.
Now we're up to 7 to 10 hours a week saved, right?
It's a
What's
lot.
that? Yeah. What does that equal if you go from 40 down? I mean, I don't know if you're over 40 now, but the 10 hours is a significant difference in our lives. Hi, cutie.
That,
So,
that is incredible, and it's nice to be able to put it into those words too, just to approach the topic with my teammate that's preferring to do less visits. Like, oh, look at how this is a win-win for both of us. But things might look different for a few weeks or whatever till
yeah,
adjustments are made.
yeah, prepare her for the uproar that always happens in the middle of change. At
Hmm.
first, it's always harder when you go to
Sure.
make a change, but you know where you're headed. You have a clear vision and plan on where you're going and how to get there, at least the start of how to get there, and then the rest will work itself out. And that's all it takes is just kind of dealing with the hurricane of it all while it's happening until you guys figure out the system and get it in place. So that's just prepare her for that. But
Hmm.
I'd have that conversation with her first and be like, hey, this is where I'm thinking about taking it. If you do decide this, and pay attention to, does she light up with that idea? Does that seem to make her happier?
Sure.
That might help give you more clarity on what direction you should take too. Even if you say, hey, I'm thinking about this. I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking about it. And
Hmm.
kind of talk it over and get more clarity. And then what you can do is even just test it by sending out an email to all of your current customer base that, hey, we are opening up more spaces available for boarding and daycare on such and such days and times at so and so's house, not yours, at
Sure.
hers, right? Because
Uh-huh.
right now, if we grow yours, it's going to add more to your plate and it's going to give you less time to get all of your goals accomplished here first,
Right.
right? So focus on growing her side so that you can still support her financially. And then at the same time, you can say, and customers, because we're doing that, we are also looking for your recommendations of a fantastic hire for our dog walks and drop-in visits and yada yada to replace her.
Love it.
Right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you don't know if the timing's all going to work out. It's like buying a new house but needing to sell yours. Which one do you do first, right? But it always works out one way or another, doesn't it? And you might have a few challenging weeks in there, but it's going to work out. And you'll see how you can make it work as it all comes together. I am confident of that. And then on the email thing, do you have any kind of copy and paste messages and stuff that you use for your new inquiries?
So I think because of the way we advertise, our inquiries are usually pretty specific questions. They're usually pets that have behavior challenges or are very leash reactive, strange or skittish. We seem to attract these clients because I think we market that we have experience with them. So usually the email inquiries are really specific. And I don't think that we'd have a good closing rate if we were to use a copy and paste, but I'm getting better with using like prompts and AI to get us effective email replies, which has saved me many, like probably it saves me an hour on every email.
Yeah.
So at least I have a system in place that I could easily train somebody else to take over that for me. And I've even thought about there's gig apps that you can hire people to do that kind of stuff. And I've really preferred to keep it done by my team and people that know our business and our clients. So I haven't proceeded with that, but I think I've got a lot of it automated where I could, if I had another teammate or two that I could spare a couple hours of theirs, I could pass this on to somebody else, which is a blessing.
Okay. Okay. When they're inquiring, is it like the customer's asking a lot of questions because their dog has these issues, or you're asking the questions because you want to make sure they're a good fit first?
Sure. Usually the most common inquiry would be a client asking, I'm going out of town September 9th through September 26th, and I have a dog that doesn't get along with any other dogs. How much to wash it? But you don't know the age of the dog, if it's on any medicine, if they want it washed in their house or your house, or what the situation is. Almost all of our messages are something very similar to that.
Okay. Okay. And would it be fair to say that if you responded with something such as, we like to meet the dog in person to get a better feel for their needs and the responsibilities to take the best care of them that we possibly can. And at that time is when we can discuss all of your dog's needs
Mhm.
and any behavioral issues that you're concerned about, as well as the pricing, because we don't know what the pricing is until we see what is required,
Uh-huh.
right? Do you have what is your feeling about something like that?
I think that would probably scare away about 80% of the people that are questioning, but the ones that it didn't scare away would probably be excellent clients. And I can see now that I've been in business for a couple of years that with that 20% that followed up with we're still interested in meeting, that our yearly sales might still be just as great or greater if we're connecting with the right individuals that are looking for our services.
Uh, you are such a good student or a client to coach. Let me tell you, I love your open mind because nobody can make any progress without it. So thank you so much for that. I will tell you that that's exactly how I do it, and I've done it from the beginning. Nobody gets the pricing of my services until I've met them and their dog. And I state that clearly. Hi, baby. Somebody wants to be on camera. How cute. And I do state that very clearly up front that our pricing depends on their dog's needs and that we can't fully determine or accurately determine what those needs are until we meet them at the meet and greet. And there's also a lot of variables depending upon when they're coming, how often they need the service, and things like that, right? So when I do that, I will tell you, I get probably, and I'm not exaggerating. I would say 99% of the people sign up for the meet and greet still. I kid you not. I'm shocked by that. And I've been doing this for 7 years.
I'm
And
shocked, but happy for you.
yeah, I mean, it sounds like I'm lying when I say that out loud. I feel like I'm lying almost because it seems so unreal to me. But if I really think about it, I have to say. And then that I also, what's great about that is I also include in that little verbiage that I copy and paste to my text or email, however they're inquiring, or Facebook Messenger, whatever. The way I say it includes that at that time you'll get to see the facility. That's if they're coming to you, right? And I will answer all of your questions at that time. This way, I'm not spending an hour messaging back and forth with this person, answering all these questions, so that 2 weeks later, when we go to the meet and greet, they're asking the same things and we're repeating the answers all over again, right? And either way, at the meet and greet, you're still going to spend the same amount of time you always spend at one of those, pretty much nonstop. So why do everything twice? You know what I mean? So for me, it saves me so much time on the admin side because I have a boundary, and that boundary says we cover all the details, answer all your questions, evaluate your dog's needs, and determine the pricing at the meet and greet. We would love to meet you to show you what it is we do here. We make sure the dogs get all of their needs met every single day, and we'd love to show you how we do it. We have a proprietary process on introducing the dogs so that we ensure that they're safe, and that's why we haven't had any dog bites in 7 years. Come by and have a look. When would you like to do that? And you just ask them straight up, what date is best for you? And just assume they're going to go with it. It's also the language you use. If you're like, well, so if you still want to sign up, these days are available. No, it's these days are available. Which day is best for you? That is called leading language. When you use leading language with people, it's like you're convincing them to do something without them realizing that you're convincing them to do it. It's a technique that hypnotists actually use. And it's also a technique called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Now, I don't recommend you use it for evil, but this is actually for the benefit for you, the customer, the dog, and the business, your employees, everybody, because you're setting a boundary. You're making sure you don't make any promises on site, unseen of the dog or the animal yet. I feel most comfortable committing to taking responsibility for an animal after I've met them, not before. And so it gives you that peace of mind along with it. And then it also gives you time back because you're not constantly having all this communication back and forth before you even meet somebody who might end up canceling and never call you back for another meet and greet again anyway. That's another part of it. It's like, I'm not going to waste my time, or even somebody I could hire to do this. I'm not going to waste their time to spend on going back and forth in communication if there's a chance that they're going to cancel and never show up anyway. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Does that bring up any kind of objection or uncomfortable feelings?
No, not at all. Actually, it sounds more like the kind of business that I've been slowly trying to build.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Let me summarize what we went through here. So we're looking at scheduling. If you can get your scheduling so it's more consistent with your employees or ICs going to the same customers, the same days every single week. Also, by the way, that's going to build more rapport and loyalty and trust with your customers, because the more they get to know that same person. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, let them know that someone still will come in when you need a sub because people need time off. They'll understand that. No
Mhm.
problem, right? But it's going to build a lot more rapport and trust because they're really gonna get to know that person that is coming every single Monday, every single Wednesday. And that gives them a peace of mind right there because they can trust that person's knows what they're doing because they've been coming all this time. Okay, so back to the summary is that the scheduling, if you can get that so that everyone has a specific day, and maybe during the transition, you can work your girl that does the boarding and daycare while you're advertising to your customers that you have boarding and daycare available for her. You can use her for training a new person,
Mhm.
which like you'll have to decide which days are that new person going to get, right? So you're going to have to figure out the schedule for your people now and what days, maybe even have a talk with them. What days or customers would you like best and try, can't please everybody. Everybody's probably going to want some of the same ones,
Sure.
but you can split it up and figure it out. Then you're going to have now these are the days and times I need somebody. So it's going to give you clarity on what to look for in a new hire, their
Mhm.
availability, right? And so then you can hopefully on the days that your boarding girl is available, let them shadow her. And
Uh-huh.
maybe in the interim, you or your husband can do those until she is done shadowing them and somebody's fully onboarded. Or even some of your other employees could take on a couple extra days and go do those if they're available. And the new person can shadow them as well. So it doesn't have to be you and your husband, right? So you get it to that point, grow her boarding and daycare at the same time, and slowly transition her over to that. Now, once you have that all set up, we're looking at 5 to 8 hours a week saved for you. And then, as we talked about for the emails and stuff, if you can find a way to set it up so that you're just repeating things, you're copying, you're pasting, you work out the verbiage,
Mhm.
chat GPT it, whatever you have to do on saying to the customers, hey, new inquiries, we make sure we give the best service by meeting your animal first and then determining the pricing based upon their needs and the requirements of the job. Period. Do you have a setup for scheduling for meet and greets? Like a calendar or something that the customer can go in and on a link and sign up?
The way I've been doing it this far is I'll do a brief phone call with them just to make sure that it sounds like somebody that I want to go out and meet their pet, because we sometimes get people out of our service area or with very aggressive dogs, things like that, that aren't a good fit. So I usually do a phone call first just to make sure I'm interested in meeting them. After that phone call, I'll put just the smallest amount of information into my software that I need to almost schedule an event on the calendar from the phone call. It's kind of just to make sure that I won't have to hold their hand, that they can join us in technology. They'll get a journal, almost as if I had gone to their house, said, thanks for taking the time to speak with me. A couple pictures of a dog or cat, like this is how it might look in the future when we come, and you can come to visit your home, and you can use the scheduler to schedule your meet and greet so they can actually go and schedule it themselves. Or I give them the option, if they prefer to email or text message 3 times at work for them, that they'll get an email confirmation with their meet and greet time.
Oh, what if you just went down to letting them schedule it themselves always instead of giving them that option for one? It
To
sounds like,
schedule it themselves.
yeah, because you said they can get a link on the precise pet care, they get that
Uh-huh.
email, and then if they want, they can schedule it, right?
Yes. Yes.
What if you just say, schedule your meet and greet on Precise Pet Care here, please?
Uh-huh. That's good. I could do that now that we're in the summer and I have my seasonal teammate that came back. But during when I'm not as adequately staffed, sometimes it's hard to run over to a meet and greet at any time.
Oh, so okay, maybe I misunderstand because I thought if they scheduled it on their own in Precise Pet Care, it doesn't give them hours or days, specific windows that you're available already.
It doesn't. I should program it. I never thought about that. It
It
gives them
can
like
be.
any day, anytime. Yeah, it can be. I never even thought about that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's an easy fix right there. It is to carve out some time to go in there and program it.
Sure.
Also try to systemize your meet and greet times and days.
Uh-huh. I think in the past all I did was I removed 11 to 2 is an option, like, but they can pick 7 days a week, anytime that's not 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. At least I
Okay.
had that foresight, but it'd be nice to customize it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can direct them to always use that to set up
Mhm.
their meet and greet. So you don't have
Sure.
to worry about going back and forth and scheduling with them. And I think most of those schedulers have little settings in there that you can use that hopefully that one does. That's like nobody can book within 24 hours or however many hours you say,
Uh-huh.
two,
Sure,
3 days
it does.
or 1 week or whatever. Yeah, good. So make sure you use that so no one books an hour from now. Right.
Mhm.
So, okay. So that's good. So now on the calls part, you like to call them for the area, make sure they're within your area and not aggressive. That's simple enough, I think, to say on your little precise thing or your email that you send them with the journal to go book on precise pet care to say something to the effect of we only serve these zip codes or these areas or
Mhm.
we don't serve these areas. And if you sign up for a meet and greet and we find that you're out of this area, then we will cancel.
I
Very
think part of the reason I do the phone call really is just to make sure that they're a kind person.
yeah,
But so I guess you just have to take your chances and find out in the meet and greet is how you do it.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And more often than not, the people that aren't the kind people, those would be the ones who would say, well, you're not going to give me the pricing first. I'm not coming.
Sure. You
Right.
make a good point there. Yes.
So I kind of weed them out that way anyway. So it
Mhm.
works. But like I said, that's like 1%. It's literally so few and far between. And maybe once in a blue moon, find those people at a meet and greet. But now, who cares if that wastes 1 or 2 hours every quarter versus how many
Sure.
hours are you wasting in this method, right? So
Agreed.
yeah. Okay, cool. So that would cut out your calls. That would cut out the back in like 2 to 3 emails back and forth. I mean, you might have really, it'd be great if you could just send one email back with all of that information, very clear on your boundaries around aggressive dogs, very clear on your boundaries about the area and the consequences, meaning we will cancel. We will end the meet and greet short if we find that the dog is too aggressive too quickly and it's not a good fit. And you might want to give a little bit of verbiage in there, like people have different definition of aggressiveness.
They sure do, or they don't even mention it. I had a client once say, I'm nervous about the meet and greet. But that was all she said. And I thought she was a shy lady. Her dog bit my husband with his back turned to the dog too.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, and then maybe establish a protocol for anyone doing the meet and greet that before going in, that they communicate with the owner, like, has your dog ever bit? Has your dog ever shown their teeth?
I think it was this particular meet and greet and the bite, which had me develop so many questions into
Uh,
future
yes.
emails. But it would be nice. I love the way that you say that I should have something that's just cookie cutter professional that I can copy and paste and claim back 5 hours of my week every week potentially.
Absolutely. Absolutely good. Okay, because that has saved me so just finding things I can repeat, cut and paste has saved me more time than anything. In the beginning, especially before I had the daycare membership where everybody was scheduled on certain days and I didn't have to do all the scheduling and rescheduling and canceling and all that jazz all the time anymore. You just said you think it could save you about 5 hours potentially. You did the cookie cutter process, wiped out the calls, had less emails because of that.
Sure.
And that's 5 hours a week. You think that would save you potentially?
I know this last week it would have saved me 5 hours. I can say that for certainty.
Okay. Okay. So with scheduling, it could save 5 to 8 hours. If you rework that, you rework your email system, that could save you 5 hours. So now we're up to what? 10 to 13 hours. And then we were looking at the 2 hours, that's what it was, 2 hours on Sundays. If you can work a better system, I definitely think you could find a better system for the billing and the invoicing for sure. Look into different things like Stripe and ones similar to it. If you're doing the subscription, the fee should be lower.
Sure, I'm glad you said that. I didn't know anything at all about that, but
Think about the consequences. Is a 1.5% worth you breaking up a Sunday you could be with your nieces and nephews or your mother,
Sure.
you know.
Absolutely.
And so if you did that, you save 2 hours every Sunday. We're looking at anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a week right there. Right there. What would that give you? What would your life look like if you had an extra 12 to 15 hours a week?
Be a whole different life.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be amazing. I want that for you. And I have absolutely no doubt that all of this is possible because it's literally not the exact same circumstances, but pretty much the exact same process that I went through to get to 30 hours or less a week in my business. So
Mhm.
I know it's possible without a shadow of a doubt. The hard part is going to be pulling the plug on some of these things that scare you, right?
Mhm.
And so, what do you do when you're stuck in fear? Pop quiz.
I try to find something to be grateful for.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. I love that too. Okay, but I'm pop quizzing you on what were we talking about earlier? When you're focused on fear, what can you do differently? What can you
We got to focus on something else.
Yes, focus on what you can do, what you can control, right? So anytime you're getting stuck on any of these things that we've outlined that you start to work on, fear of not getting enough people in for the boarding and daycare for her, fear of hiring the wrong person, fear of losing potential customers because you're cookie cuttering the process and forcing them to get the details at the meet and greet, fear of losing 1.5, maybe 2, even 3% of each transaction because you're changing your software system for invoices. That's all stuff you can say, okay, well, what else can I focus on that I can control in this situation to try to mitigate that some? No guarantees, and you can't do it 100%, but it'll take you out of that fear mode, right?
Mhm.
Because fear does nothing but stop us. It stops us from reaching for our goals. So when you can kind of shift your focus, then you can shift the action towards the goal instead of putting the brakes on. Yeah. So what do you think? Does this give you any clarity or
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
good? Good. I hope we touched upon some things here that are significant enough for you to make a difference.
I feel like we definitely did.
Okay, good. Good. And now I'm going to put you under the clock here and say, what would be a goal for you to have all of this attended to? These three things attended to. What would be your goal to have them hashed out by?
August 1st,
And why do you say August 1st?
because I'm a methodical person that likes to be very intentful in any kind of changes, especially for my business. And I think that it would be, it'd just be too stressful for me to push those changes to occur within 30 days. But I don't want the summer break to end and still be in this same position. It'd be even harder to make changes then.
Okay. Okay. If you had to push just a little bit harder than August 1st, what would you say?
30 days.
30 days? Okay. If you made 30 days the goal and you don't make it, what does that mean?
It means it'll be even easier to hit it by August 1st.
Yes. That's what I was going for. I love it. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If we aim higher and we don't make it, at least we're further than had we not aimed higher. Right? So that's, you got it. You
Agreed.
picked up on
I,
that quickly.
I like that mind change.
Yes, it has been such a joy to have this session with you, Jonie, and I really appreciate you showing up for it and being so coachable, open-minded, flexible, all of that. So I'm excited. Will you come back and let us know how things are going, maybe in the fall or something?
I'd love to be back in the fall.
Okay, we want to hear your progress because I'm excited and I know you're going to get there. You're doing great. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thanks for your time. Scotty
Absolutely.
says, thanks for your time.
Bye, baby. Who is that?
This is Scotty.
Gosh.
He's our most least reactive client, but a love bug, as you can see.
That's great.
Yes. Okay.
Doing good work there. Good boy, Scotty. Well, unless you have any other questions, how do you feel? You good?
I feel great. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot more direction and now a friendly face that I can come to with my questions.
Absolutely.
And just so thankful that you took so much time out of your day with me today. And I feel much more clear about where we're headed. And I think a lot of topics that you touched on were topics that my husband had mentioned, like scheduling, that were really eating away at him, watching me struggle with them and with the balance. And I think that boarding and so many topics that we touched on were things that he was trying to bring to light that he saw as a problem with my methods, but just doesn't have the ability to communicate them in the same effective manner. So I really appreciate your time today.
Well, you're welcome. That means a lot. And we hear things differently when it comes from an outsider versus our husband. So, I get it. Well, thank you again. And let's stay in touch. And best of luck with you. And again, I appreciate you doing all this because I know the things we talked about today are things that other people out there are absolutely struggling with, and this could give them a lot of insight as well. So you've done good work for yourself and for the audience. So I appreciate that. Your bravery. Have a good day.
You too.